Kia ora team, just wanted to touch base and say awesome work after a great first week. Just realised I was holding this. Awesome work after a great first week. Welcome to the new mobility block. We will be following a very similar plan week to week with very slight changes over time. So well done in that first week. I thought I'd come on here and just give out a few tips for the week ahead, where to kind of put our mindset and then just kind of give you a bit of accountability on your Sunday night before you enter into the next week of training. So tonight is a good night to have a look at our goals, have a rethink or a refocus around the things that we know we need to start prioritizing around our training to make us better at our training, but also better at our life. So if you tick these boxes, then I think you'll find everything starts to improve a lot faster and a lot better as well. So on your Sunday, making some real simple small goals. Everyone who's joined the gym will probably have like a basic goal already of what they want to get from doing the gym, coming to the gym and being a part of it. So whether that's weight loss, building muscle, building fitness, building strength, there's a range of different reasons why you might come in, just for your mental as well. So if one of those things sounds like you, remember to refocus to that thing, and the success of that thing will come down to your consistency with regards to your training, your nutrition, your rest, and all the other pillars, the holistic pillars of your life. So we can help those along by having some clear-cut goals for the week ahead, and making sure that those goals are going to benefit towards our overall goal down the end of the track. So what we want to do is have a look at this week. If you're someone that struggles with getting to the gym, this can be a really simple goal for you, is picking which days you're going to definitely do and having non-negotiables for those days, which basically means that you have to go to at least those days. If you do more than that, that's great. If you do less than that, then you've failed at that goal and you need to rethink what's going to be ideal for you and realistic as well. So that you can actually meet that consistency around that type of goal. It might be that you want to improve your eating so that it affects your weight loss or your strength or your cardio in a positive way. So we might want to think about like what our protein is going to be from day to day, how much water we're having, what meals we're having, making sure we've got food ready to go so we're not kind of going to a last minute effort and grabbing up some takeaways because we didn't prepare ourselves well. So I guess today is all about preparation, and preparation might not mean actually making the food. It might just be being more aware of what you did wrong last week or things that you didn't do so well last week, and just improving slightly on those things so that you get yourself closer to the mark. So some really simple things would be to have a look at your day-to-day eating habits. What times do you usually eat? And then having a look at like what is the makeup of each of those meals. For a lot of us, we won't be getting enough protein. Even myself, on some days when I'm busy and haven't prepared myself well, I miss my protein targets, and essentially that's going to have long-term effects on my ability to maintain muscle mass, my ability to maintain strength. And if I'm at a deficit and losing weight, then I'm going to lose a lot of strength and fitness probably as well. So protein should be one of your top priorities with your nutrition, and making sure that you've got good sources of protein in your foods. If you don't understand what that looks like or how much protein is in what type of food, then that's your homework for this week, is go away, Google some of the foods you eat a lot of the time and figure out how much protein is in those foods. For the most of us, it's going to be around 2 to 3 grams per kg of body weight. That's your protein requirement per day, especially if you're 1, trying to lose weight, and 2, trying to maintain muscle or strength. Okay, so it's really, really important that you try to get as close to that minimum, which is 2 grams per kg of body weight. So if I was a 100 kg person, I need 200 grams of protein each day. Bear in mind, one normal meal has about maybe 20 grams, maybe. Sometimes slightly more, sometimes slightly less. It's kind of give or take 4 to 5 grams either way. But you're probably going to find that most meals have less than 20 grams. But sometimes they have up to 20 grams, which means that if you're only having 3 meals a day, that's only 60 grams a day of protein, and for most of us, that's going to not be enough. Most of us will be in the hundreds somewhere, and then for us, a little bit bigger boys, will be up in the 200s. If you are very, very big and you're unsure of what your lean body mass is, because essentially protein requirements should be taken off lean body mass, which means everything that's not fat mass, so fat-free mass, that's the amount of mass that you want to utilize to work out your protein intake. So if you can, go and get scans and they can tell you what your overall lean body mass is, and then you can get a really, really accurate amount of what you're supposed to be having each day. But if you can't, that's okay. We can kind of just take some of the amount off and then work that way. If you are unsure about what your protein target should be each day and what kind of food sources to utilize, send us a message and then I'll send you back a little bit of info around where to look and then also how to figure it out for yourself. With regards to the new block with mobility, I understand there has been a fair amount of DOMs. This is normal, all right? Remember, DOMs are created by things that cause a new stimulus for adaptation. So there is like a, I guess, small period where you're going to be experiencing a little bit more pain than usual when you expose your muscles to new movements, new range of motion, new loading, and pretty much just different ways of loading as well. And I guess I'm referring to the tempo that you load. So if you are doing this new block and you've done the last Monday, you would know that, you know, this block does cause a little bit of DOMs, and it's probably likely to happen again this week as we start to familiarize ourselves with all the movements and the different ways that we are moving, but it will not last forever. It only comes when you are doing new things, changing the stimulus. So we do want to try and have a few weeks that are pretty much the same to allow that adaptation period, so that you can get in your proper recovery period and then actually improve, because that's essentially how it works. So just kind of bear with us, do as much as you can, and push yourself a little bit. It really depends on the severity of your DOMs. If they're really bad, then it's quite difficult to push through and you probably need to pull back a bit. But let's just see how this week goes. If you are trying to manage your muscle soreness, a few different ways that you can do it is with adequate rest. Okay, rest is the most important thing. Sleeping is the most important thing. It's gonna be the time when you do your biggest amounts of recovery. All right, there's no food or drink or special thing that you can do. There's no amount of ice baths or anything like that that's gonna make it any better than what sleep is. All right, you need to prioritize the value of sleep. It's very, very important, and that will give you the best gains. It'll help you to recover faster, and yeah, it's just going to be one of the things you should definitely be focusing on the most. The next thing that we want to focus on is keeping ourselves moving even if we are sore. All right, if you keep yourself moving, it's going to help with things like blood flow, etc. And it's just been shown that, you know, active recovery or just any types of recovery sessions, if that's stretching and that later on as well, it's just going to help speed up that recovery process. So don't be afraid to go out for a bit of a walk after you've done those heavy leg sessions. Just kind of keeping active, that's going to make sure that you recover a bit better. Your nutrition, we don't want to be sloppy with nutrition, all right? We don't want to overload with too much carbohydrates. We don't want to have too much high fatty foods. Alcohol is really not going to play a massive part in our recovery. So we want to try and avoid all those things as much as we can, and just try to keep it as clean as you can. Everyone knows what clean looks like, and if you can stick to those things and get adequate amounts as well, then you'll find that you'll recover quite well as well. Yeah, that's kind of like the main ways to manage your muscle soreness, is just the really, really basic ways: taking care of your sleep, taking care of your nutrition, definitely drinking enough water. If you're not drinking enough water, you'll notice that your performance will actually decrease as well. So you've got to manage those things. But what you'll find is over the next couple of weeks, as we familiarize with the movements, we'll also start to remove a lot of those DOMs. Anyways, I hope this has been helpful. Just a few little tips, just a little reminder and kick up the butt as well to get your A into G. Get your A into G. Come on. But yeah, let's just try to have a really good week. Week 2 in this mobility program. 3 weeks to go in it before we switch over to that strength phase. It's all looking good. You're all doing well. Let's go. Off and then work that way. What we also want to focus on is we want to make sure that I'm on a good roll until this stupid thing turned off.